Wait, you got some Dan Kennedy broccoli in your beer.
Yeah, that was interesting. What's up, Dean?
How you doing, Jim?
I am fine. A little tired. Got back from Funnel Hacking Live and didn't have any kind of a break. Just started hitting the ground running. So as soon as I get done talking to you, I'm going to maybe take a little break for an afternoon. Drove 13 straight hours to get home.
Yesterday?
So, no, Sunday.
Mm.
So, Sunday, and then, you know how it is.
I do.
You know, you drove home, and then it's kind of time to get to work, and then it's time to, you
Take a
know,
nap.
I don't know. Anyway, so, but I did my interview with Dan Kennedy. It was pretty cool. Interviewed him for the afternoon. That was neat. That was like a dream come true. I told everybody from the stage that if I, you know, it's like if you were a singer, that would be the equivalent of singing with like Frank Sinatra or Willie Nelson before he was like super stoned all the time and lost his voice. So anyway, that was just a real thrill to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was neat. And then I ended up pitching from the stage in front of Dan, pitching Dan's offer from the stage in front of Dan. And I did well. I mean, it was a 5-minute thing. Oh, while Dan was heckling me about the quality of the pitch that I was making.
I see.
And ended up doing a good 5 figures right there in 5 minutes. So 5 figures in 5 minutes. So that was cool.
Cool. What was the offer? What did you pitch?
It was a repitch. It was the diamond level.
Yeah.
So, and so I did a pretty cool pitch that I was excited about. And then I gave him his lunch box that I got for him. And Marquez says, I love that interview. He's so funny. Yes, Dan is an interesting character. So were you there, Marquez? I hope I'm saying it, Marquez. So it was interesting because I gave him that monkey's lunchbox.
Yeah.
And he was
Mickey
like, oh,
Dolenz, Peter Tork.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, thanks. I don't have one of these. So that made him happy. And then I used that as a segue for him to explain marketing or how they were able to be the first made-for-TV boy band,
Mm-hmm.
And how they had done what they did. Oh, Marcus. Okay, cool. I'm glad you were there. I had a lot of fun. So Marcus saw me squirming under Dan's, because I also made the mistake of ruining one of Dan's jokes. And he pounded me mercilessly for about 15 minutes because I had jacked his joke up.
Did you step on a line or interrupt him while he was telling it, or what'd you do?
A little bit of both.
The setup, interjected.
Yeah, I interrupted him I interjected a question during the setup that ruined it.
Yeah.
So I think I irritated him, but hey, what are you going to do? But it was neat. And, you know, it was interesting because Dan's quite the character. Mm-hmm. So he was not super, like, Dan's going to roll. And so I don't think he was used to having somebody like interrupt him, like to steer the thing. He's used to rolling on down the road. Mm-hmm. So it was, even though I've interviewed him before, but it was a great experience. He's a super dude, crotchety, but in a good way. And all in all, it was a great experience.
How long was the
I was very grateful
interview?
for it. 3.5 hours.
Wow. So was this in a breakout or was this on the main stage in front of everybody?
This was the day with Dan. So it was, everybody came in a day ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it was interesting. There were almost 1,000 people in the room. So
wow, we did good. I wrote all of those. I wrote the emails for the promo, a ton of them anyway, and the sales letter for Diamond.
So that was, the funny thing is, like, the extra day that a few people came in for was bigger than most people could ever dream their seminar would be. Yeah. That's just the scale of it with Funnel Hacking Live is truly impressive with all the people. And, there were 5,000 people in that room for the main stuff. And I mean, the pageantry and I didn't get any sleep last week. And just the production value was the highest I've ever seen at any kind of an event. It was off the charts. Cool.
How did it compare with past FHLs?
It was bigger, bolder, better, everything. It was just the staging and the size of the stage and the size of, they had lasers in there this time. And, just, it was massive, but the way it was set up, it didn't feel like you were far from the action in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, because they have big monitors all the way back, right? So
yes. Yeah, just the scope and size of everything was the biggest I'd ever seen. And it was interesting because I had been there not 2 weeks before for John Maxwell and had spoken on that stage from the main stage. And they had about 3,000 people there. But the way that they had it configured was, you passed the yawn back to me. The way they had it configured was useful for the way they did, because they had it configured with rounds. So they do everything with round tables as opposed to theater seating. So that's a different environment. And they do everything with the lights up. Everything at John Maxwell, the lights are up so people can take their notes and, keeping them awake and stuff like that. So it was weird because I had been in the exact same room, but it was a completely different environment.
Yeah.
It was showing how important staging and stuff is. And then when you came down the big, long hallway where everything is, Dexter and I kept saying, man, that's where our booth is supposed to be. Because we had this section that they always put us in, and we're walking by. It's so weird not to see our booth right there with our, content marketing scripts and stuff up there. So, but it was cool. So I had a really good time, learned a lot, ran into some really cool folks, met some really cool new folks. And, it was a great experience. Learned a lot. A lot of real good takeaways from all the different speakers.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You're pretty good at sitting down and watching all the speakers, right?
Yeah. I'm not usually out in the hallway talking to people. I mean, I did that a couple times, but this isn't one of those events where, half of everybody's out in the hallway and nobody ever goes in to watch the speakers because it's a pitch-a-thon or something, because nobody's pitching from the stage. I got introduced to somebody I'd never heard of before, a guy named Ed Mylett.
Yeah.
Ed Mylett. Yeah. What a character. Oh my gosh. If Tony Robbins and Joe Rogan and some nameless MMA fighter had a three-way dumpster baby together, that would be this dude. I mean, he was awesome. Have you ever seen him talk or seen his podcast or anything? What a cool dude. I would love to just go hang out with him. I seriously, I mean, I would love to go, hey, so Ed, if you hearing this, I would love to hang out with you, man. So that was pretty cool. I'm just trying to think. I mean, the staging was great. Russell was amazing. They had a great thing where they included Dave Woodward in on the presentation from stage. Was really cool, live through iPad. So that was neat. That's why I'm wearing my.
Dave was home.
Yeah, so I wore my Team Dave shirt today. So there's just a bunch of really great speakers. They had a guy, something Kern Lima or something, a lady who started a
the cosmetics, right?
Yeah, she was really inspiring. Thank you, Michael. She was really inspiring. I mean, that woman sold her company to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion.
Yeah.
And she told the story of just being told no again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And then when she thought she had finally made it, they got all the way to the end, and then they got the rug ripped out from under them again. And she just never gave up and just never gave up and just never gave up. And then when she got the one chance, they still, after years, had to put everything on the line, had to go all in on their dream, and everything depended on a 10-minute pitch on QVC. But it wasn't even a 10-minute pitch on QVC, because if the first minute doesn't go well, they start cutting your time. And they basically mortgaged everything, went all in, got a loan to get like 6,000 units to be able to go on QVC, and she sold out in 10 minutes. And she went on to be on QVC like the next year a dozen times, and the year after that like 200 times, and just crushing it and crushing it and crushing it. I mean, I was in tears, man. Just the story was so amazing, and everybody's stories were just super duper amazing. So I'm trying to get my hands on the replays, because there were a couple people I want to watch again.
Who else?
Just for the cool story. The Ed Millett guy, the cosmetics lady, she was the last one.
How was Marie Forleo?
She was good. It was, she's the life coach, right? She was good. If she's the person I'm thinking of, she did more of like, she pulled a couple people out of the audience and showed like a system she uses to think through stuff. And it was cool.
She was the last day, I think, spoke on the last day.
Okay. Well, then maybe she's not the one I was thinking of. Oh yeah. She was good. But the lady with the cosmetics company just crushed, it just crushed. When it's so powerful, when the story is just so powerful. And that Ed Millett guy told the story about his kid, and in telling the story about his kid, he taught a success principle of going after what you want, never quitting, that kind of stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I remember him. He told a couple stories. So I think the stories that resonated were the ones that made me remember those people the most. And if it resonated and taught principles and other stuff, even better.
Hence
so I'm
the
just
power
trying to
of
think.
Story.
Yeah, but this was next level stuff. I mean, I think I'm good with a story, and I am. But this also shows the power of preparation. These people were not freestyling this.
Oh,
this
no.
was well practiced to be able to deliver this and make it as impactful. And it's like the power of one story told well beats 100 different talks given well enough. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good example of why you should be practiced in your storytelling. Yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, that was a big deal. So, and then again, I mean, Russell was up there a bunch and was telling, cool stories and sharing things, but, So Russell and Stephen did a presentation on dramatic demonstrations, and they were talking about P.T. Barnum and sorry, my seat, for whatever reason, the freaking piston in it has decided to die, and I'm going to need to get a new chair, but that's an aside. So they were talking about the power of dramatic demonstrations, and it was really good. It got me really thinking about everything, and it was excellent. And I told Steven Larson, I said, dude, this is your thing. This is your thing that you need to ride this. You need to ride this like a 50-cent pony at the, dollar ride. You need to just ride this thing because this is all you. It was a beautiful thing to watch, him and Russell and Steve really just crushing it. I was super excited for him because it was an amazing presentation. I mean, I was just taking notes and notes. And when you're taking notes and something is super cool and you're like, I really want to remember this. So you write it even bigger, like you're trying to yell at yourself in the future to pay attention to these notes that you're taking. Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was amazing. That was tremendous. I really want to watch that presentation again.
There's a customer born every second.
Every minute. And Joe Vitale wrote a book on that, which is actually really good.
I've got it. It's terrific.
Yeah. I got it back when he came out with it because that was his big thing. That was the first big expensive info product I ever bought. Was Joe came out with There's a Customer Born Every Minute, and then he did a program based off of that for Nightingale Conant that was $200. Was the the success secrets of billionaires, something or others, and titans or something like that. And that was when I was living in the trailer park, and $200 was a lot of money. And I sent Nightingale Conant my $197 to get that program from Joe Vitale. Anyway, I got to look up the name of that now. Joe Vitale, Titans and Billionaires program. There it is. The power of outrageous marketing, using the time-tested secrets of titans, tycoons, and billionaires to get rich in your own business. And you can buy it now on Audible for nothing.
Yes. And then, ta-da, there it is.
Yep. Really I'm going to have to get that and listen to it again because I've got like 7 Audible credits, so I can get it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And look at this. Look at the forward is by.
Revising a forward by Jeffrey Gitomer.
Yeah, remember him?
I bet that's uplifting and supportive. But we'll just leave that alone.
I like Jeffrey. I'd get all those books, those little red books, the little black book,
the little black book of Yep. He's a grumpy though. He's a grump.
I never met him, but I liked his books.
I understand. I didn't say I didn't like the guy. I just said he's a grump. If anything, it would make me like him more.
I know. Well, you said Dan Kennedy. He's grumpy. Makes you
he
like
really
him more.
He really is grumpy, and I loved it.
Yeah. Like he's always going through menopause.
He said something on stage. He's like, this will offend somebody. I said, oh, good. He said, we used to have these because we had women in our program. So he said, we used to have a T-shirt that said, women with balls. Mm-hmm. I said, oh, Dan, that's fine. We got them now, too. You hear about that on the news. And he didn't want to laugh, but he looked at me like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to go. But I got a good laugh from the audience on that. That was fun. We had a good time. Damn, I want to read that. I'm going to get this again. I loved that. And, it's funny. That was what got me to contact Joe and be like, hey, dude. And I followed his advice in his program to contact him and pitch him on creating what became 7-Day ebook.
Ah, funny.
So now I'm feeling all nostalgic, man, because that was published back in, he must have got the copyright back, because it says copyright 2007, and I bought that back in the early 90s. So that's pretty cool. All right. Anyway, so what else is going on? Anything interesting?
What else is happening? Well, it's life post ClickFunnels. So working on my own stuff, working on offers. I'm writing I'll tell you, like we talked about before, finishing up Elaine's webinar, writing a webinar.
How's that going?
And I love, the fact that we just talked about story and Lisa Kern Lima, I think her name is, and Ed Milet. I love how you ask me a question, I start telling you, and you still have to grab attention. Yeah,
I was fluffing my beard.
So every time you get that Uline catalog that's this thick every 2 months, you got to go, I got to buy something. There's something in here that's going to catch my interest, and I'm going to order.
I really do, because I don't want to get off of their mailing address. A mailing list.
You don't have to buy anything. I got their catalog for 20 years, and I just called them 2 months ago, and I said, I'm not ordering anymore. I don't need the supply stuff. I don't have the office that I used to have. So save paper, take me off. And they go, oh, what's the code on it? Great. Very nice. Okay. I mean, that thing, that's a Magalog.
Yeah, it is.
That is huge.
You could tear that thing apart and use it and crumple it up and use it as packaging for about 50 e-com orders.
Oh my God. And it's so heavy. I mean, and if they've been doing it all these years, it pays off. That's an
somebody's making money.
Paper. It's really beautiful. It's laid out well. It's easy to find stuff. And you're going, wow, is that such a thing? Because you see things in there going, who's inventing this?
Well, it's interesting though. Let's get back to your lovely bride and what you're doing and stuff. Are you guys using any kind of print media to promote that?
It's interesting you say that. And no, not yet. We haven't started promoting it yet.
Because I'm just going to throw this out there, is that was one of the things that Dan was talking about. Like, look, print, the post office is not going to tell you can't make this offer to this audience. Yeah. They're not gonna, they're not gonna ban you for anything. You pay them and they send the mail, and you're not having the big competition in the mailbox that you do in the inbox. That was a big theme. But I was thinking, and I don't mean this in any disparaging way whatsoever, okay, by suggesting this. But you might look at running some ads in like an opportunity magazine or something for her program, or I'm sure that there's an astrology magazine or something that everybody gets, and starting out with a classified ad or something in the back just to test the waters. Have you thought about doing that?
Nope, not until just now. And I like that idea, because I'm going to show you something. Hold on.
Okay.
This is for everybody.
Here, I'll entertain the kids.
Hey everybody, it's me, Mr. Pickles. Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, let me tell you about the power of branding, because at Funnel Hacking Live, somebody mentioned wearing a pickle suit and showed a picture of one of our customers in a pickle suit. And about 45 people in the audience turned around and pointed at Jim Edwards because of me, Mr. Pickles. So that's the power, my friends, of a visual brand. Thank you. And Dean's back. I'll turn it back over to Jim.
So print. I've been getting this. That was good, Mr. Pickles. I've been getting this for years.
Yeah.
Years. Phoenix Business Journal. And they have these in every major city in the country. Okay. And the advertising that's in here is terrible. It's just terrible. So one of the things I've been considering in terms of a webinar is to advertise in the magazine, because none of these ads, none of them have a call to action. Zero. They'll list a phone number or they'll list a URL, and that's it.
Okay.
So, and it
I
says
like it.
the word business is in it. So the people who get these, they have money, because they
Yeah.
highlight the auto industry, real estate's real big, companies that are moving into the area, whether it's a chip manufacturer, EV batteries, solar, all of that stuff. So anywhere, so you've got big industry that's advertising in these. If you have something that's even remotely related to any of these businesses, I say it would be worth putting a direct response ad in
Yeah,
a
test.
publication like this.
I mean, what's the average cost per click now on freaking Facebook, man? Like $3?
It depends. I mean, I ran some ads recently, and the CPC was running up, depending on your market, $17, $28. It's like, it's ridiculous. You look at the mortgage industry or the health industry, you're going to have a click that's going to run you 20, 40, $50. It's
Right.
goofy.
So you could put a general but specific direct response ad in front of people in a magazine like that. I mean, in a magazine like that, I bet for $500.
Yep.
I bet you it's
Probably
not too crazy.
Yeah.
So,
you could probably
or
get
you
like,
could get 10 clicks from Mark Zuckerberg. Think about it, but you got to have a funnel set up, and you got to have a process. You can't just run an ad for the sake of running an ad.
I mean, Caleb O'Dowd, do you know Caleb?
Mm-mm.
Big direct response. He was one of Gary Halbert's proteges. He lived
Okay.
with Gary, on his couch for like 6 months or a year or something. And just everything that Caleb touches, knocks it out of the park. He's doing a Weber right now for a biz op, but for years, he was all about print media,
Nice.
advertising and
Cool.
print.
All right, everybody. I got to run. Dean, great to see you. We'll see you next week, brother.
All right.
And everybody have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching the Jim and Dean Show. Bye-bye, everybody.